What's up, everyone? Just trying to go live on a lot of different devices right now, but we are celebrating today, celebrating something very, very special. We are celebrating a birthday. I got the noisemakers. This is a great noisemaker. Sounds like I don't even know what that is. What are we celebrating? Whose birthday is it? What does this even mean today? I am so excited because we are celebrating the very first birthday of something really special to me, really important to me, and it is the first birthday of my fourth book called The Rooted Classroom. It turns 1 year old today, and I wanted to celebrate with you because if I could think of a time in our world where we need to understand the power and the purpose of relationships, friends, it is right now. So I thought I would go live and get out like a party hat I got it from the Dollar Tree, so it's high quality. The string broke before I could even put it on my head, but happy birthday! I thought about getting a smash cake. You know, like when kids turn 1, they always get a smash cake and then it gets really awkward, but a book can't eat a smash cake. So what I want to do is just tell you a little bit about the reason why I wrote The Rooted Classroom, why it's worth celebrating its first birthday, and then I also wanted to open it up to questions from you guys. So if you are watching right here on Facebook or YouTube, comment below with where you're watching from. If you're watching from the Instagram right here, I can see a lot of you waving. So good to have you guys here. I want to just spend a little bit of time laughing and loving with you guys so you can understand the purpose behind this book. So when I wrote The Rooted Classroom, I wrote it about 1.5 years ago. It was released last June, but when I wrote it, I knew that education was at this really pivotal time of we need better social and emotional learning in schools. We need a better approach to connecting with kids. Teachers need resources on how to do SEL and how to connect with kids and how to build relationships. Like, we hear this in education all the time, that relationships are important, but friends, let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. We know that in this summer, we are struggling to understand what next school year looks like. What is that going to mean? What kinds of coping have our kids been doing? What was it like when the school year just ended and they didn't have closure and we as teachers didn't have closure? What did that do to relationships? And the true answer is we can't really be sure until we reconnect with kids next year. But what does that connection even look like? So when I wrote this, I knew that it was a pivotal time to be celebrating relationships, but obviously none of us knew that COVID was going to hit and just really, really impact the relationships in very potentially a negative way. So what I did was I wrote a 20-chapter book called The Rooted Classroom, and I promise you it is unlike any other relationship book on the market because it is outside of the box. It is whimsical, but it's also practical. You don't need a lot of stuff in order to do what I talk about in this book, because I really believe that kids don't need stuff. Kids need us, and there's a big difference. So this is 20 engaging, practical, fun, easy ways to build relationships with kids, regardless of whether we are teaching via this screen or we are teaching in a classroom with masks on with desks 6 feet apart. The cool thing about a relationship is we don't need more than 6 feet. We don't need a bunch of stuff. It doesn't matter if we have a mask on. What matters is that kids feel safe and loved and trusted and supported. And I think that's what The Rooted Classroom is all about. So I see a lot of people popping on saying happy birthday. Kim saying happy birthday. We got Tired as a Mother right here. Jamila's in here. Guys, what I want to do is is answer questions that you guys might have about social emotional learning, about the book, The Rooted Classroom, about building relationships. I want this to be a celebration because education deserves to be celebrated. Our kids deserve strong social emotional support in the classroom. And part of that includes diversity. Part of that includes talking about anti-racism and inclusion. And like, there are so many things that fall under the realm of the social and emotional learning standards. And we know as a nation, we need this. Our kids need this, regardless of your background, regardless of the background of your community, regardless of the comfortability of us as teachers to implement stronger relationship practices. We have to step outside of our comfort zones. And I really believe that this book, The Rooted Classroom, is going to help us do that, regardless of whether you're in a cornfield or you're in an inner city, regardless of whether your kids are a melting pot or your kids are 100% white. Like, our kids need us. They need us to step outside of our comfort zone and say, let's dig deep. Let's have hard conversations. Let's get to know each other. And I think that's a really, really beautiful thing. All right. So we got Katie. She's popping in on Facebook and said, love this book from the Awesome Academy. She's referring to a 4-course online development that I do that is going to be relaunching this school year. Speaking of professional development, dear Lord Jesus, we as teachers need positive, continuous, engaging professional development now more than ever. So thank you, Katie. So glad that you enjoyed that as part of the Awesome Academy. If you guys have questions about this, I would love to answer them. I'm trying to do Facebook here and Instagram here. I don't know. We've got a lot of people watching. I don't know if there's been any questions here as I scroll through. So I don't usually go live on so many devices at once, but oh, why not? It's a birthday party. All right. So I want to give you a few of the chapter titles because I think that will give you some insight into what this book is all about. So there is one chapter in here called The Life Party. Oh my gosh. If you've ever heard me do professional development, this is one of my favorite chapters. There is a story and a strategy in here that involves sticky ninjas that is just insanely fun. There's one called Toasters and Tiaras. And you might be thinking, what in the world does a toaster or a tiara have to do with education? And I would argue everything. All right. I think that's what's really cool about relationships is it doesn't have to be this thing where we all sit in a circle and we cry together and it feels like Dr. Phil. Kids don't want that type of environment. A lot of adults don't feel comfortable with that type of environment. So like, we need to come up with better ways by talking about things that are real and relevant to kids. Another chapter title is, here's another one. Poppin' pouches and big swig celebrations. That's exactly what it sounds like. I think that we as teachers can pop pouches, meaning like a Capri Sun. Let's put a straw in a Capri Sun. Let's pop that pouch. Let's have a little juice and let's do life together. Simple things make a substantial difference when it comes to relationship. And that's what the Rooted Classroom is all about. It's this guide into helping us figure out ways to build rooted relationships with kids. I really firmly believe, and that's why I wore this shirt today for you, is if we don't build deeply rooted relationships with kids, we will never see the fruits of education, the high test scores, the grades that like Illinois or your state report cards published in the newspaper. None of that matters. Curriculum doesn't matter unless we first have a connection. So let's see, somebody put in here, yes, okay. I devoured the book in less than 24 hours. It helped me feel re-energized for the next school year. Hey now, love that comment. Awesome. If there are any questions, I know some of you are watching this on replay, do not hesitate to drop your comments and I will answer those later. But I just wanted to take this opportunity on a Monday, which I love. I love a Monday. In fact, there is a chapter called Monday morning motivation. And I think Mondays deserve to be celebrated. We're all like TGIF, and I'm all like TGIM. Let's go, right? Like, start of the week, you have a fresh start to build relationships with friends, with family members, with students every single day. But there's something rewarding and refreshing about a Monday. My question to you is, are you ready to dive in and cultivate those relationships this week? You know what I'm saying? So if there's something that I can do to help you get your copy, what I'll do is do I have, okay, so there we go, right there. MonicaGenza.com/books. I can help you secure your copy, or maybe your school is like, shoot dang, we need an SEL overhaul. We need a relationship overhaul. There's a lot of schools this summer and starting in August doing book studies on the Rooted Classroom because, like I said earlier, they're just not talking about the importance of relationships. They're not just talking about it, they're being about it, and they're saying, we need this as a school, as a community. So I would love to support you in any way with that. Thank you for celebrating birthdays with me. Thank you for celebrating education with me. I hope you have a great day. TGIM. Go build rooted relationships. Bye, guys.